Hi, guys. I'm Vince Gonzalez. This is the Creative Block Podcast. Exciting things to share today. This is going to be really fun. I am here with Mike Musante and Leo Matchett from Decentralized Pictures. Leo is an Emmy Award winner with a background in film production, crypto assets, smartphone applications, and a passion for talent discovery. Michael is also both are co-founders of Decentralized Pictures. Michael is a VP of acquisitions at American Zoetrope, a practicing lawyer with a background in motion picture development and production. And Decentralized Pictures, in partnership with Zoetrope Pictures, started by Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas. Decentralized reimagines financing and development for young filmmakers in the Web3 space. So I want to thank you both very, very much for being here. And I'm hoping you could explain it a little bit better than I did, what it is.
Well, thanks so much, Vince, for that lovely introduction. It's an honor to be here, and we appreciate the opportunity. Um, so, you know, really, I mean, thank you for giving some of the history. American Zoetrope, was partially opened and started in San Francisco in the late 60s. And the way it's been explained to me, since it's far before my time, is that, there was the want for a little bit of separation from the typical formulaic decision-making models of Hollywood, and to create a real sort of collective of artists, and create artist-driven material in sort of a non-traditional way. And that ethos of supporting artists is really at the center of decentralized pictures as well. And using technology to advance the art of filmmaking has always been a part of that same ethos as well. And so decentralized pictures really is a natural extension of those early pioneers. So we're honored, and we we like to tout that. I mean, we'll see how it goes, and it's really sort of, you know, not proven totally yet. Our hope is to prove it, and we really, think that there's great opportunity to empower artists and advance the capabilities of independent film with this permissionless technology. So, what is it exactly? I mean, that's all sort of convoluted, but at its simplest sort of form, it is a way of curating content and discovering talent in a fair and transparent way, or at least as fair and transparent as we could come up with. And it's a moving target, and we think that it's going to evolve over time with input from the community. But it essentially is a film fund and a network of film industry leaders and companies who have shown the desire to try and support and discover new compelling content that might slip through the cracks, and artists that are on the outside looking in, or even artists that have had some success but are looking to make their way further into the film industry. And so how do we decide which of those people we can help? I mean, we can't help everyone, and we want to determine who's most deserving of the support that we can offer. Our resources are limited, so that's why we created this protocol. Really, it's a user consensus protocol for peer reviewing creative material. And so one way that we've described it in the past is, think of it like Kickstarter, but in reverse. So rather than filmmakers asking the world to give them money to create their films, they're essentially paying the world to tell them if they like their film ideas or not. And based on that process, we as a company can make decisions about which films are most compelling to the people that are reviewing them. and essentially, to a certain extent, mitigating our risk in where we put the money that we have. And so the way that works is, we can develop non-identifiable demographic reports for each film that's submitted, and we can say, wow, this really struck a chord with this audience, or didn't. And so, um, at a high level, it's really a peer review platform to determine who's most deserving of support. And we're accepting unsolicited material, obviously. So, we need a way to get through it all. And that's part of the reason shops around town and in Hollywood and around the world don't accept unsolicited material. I mean, there's some liability in doing it, of course, but it's also because, this problem they call the drinking from a fire hose problem. How do you get through all of the, heaps of submissions that are going to come in? And our way of doing that is outsourcing it to the world. And we do that through this incentivized behavior protocol that blockchain allows. So when someone submits a project, they have to pay a fee into a smart contract. And a smart contract is really, just think of it like an escrow account. They pay a fee into an escrow account, and then that fee will dynamically pay out people in the community or around the world who want to review that particular project, and they will all earn money for their work in giving their opinion. And so blockchain allows us to do that, and it also allows us in a transparent way to determine fairly who the most deserving people are to receive the support. And I'll stop there, but I guess I'll just give one more example of how the process works completely. So with this award that we just finished, it was the Andrews Bernard Award in partnership with Steven Soderbergh. We took submission. We did a call for entries for submissions of films that needed completion funds. Then all of the community voted on which one their favorite was, and we narrowed it down to the top 5 or 10. Actually, in that case, I think we reviewed a lot more, but typically we do the top 5 or 10. And then, we presented those finalists to Stephen, who then ultimately made the final decision based on the data that was accumulated through that process. Now he selected the winner, this really great filmmaker, Miguel Faust, and his film called Calladita. And he's now working with Miguel to get it into the end zone and finished. And we as a foundation we're investing in those finishing funds, but it is quite literally an investment. It's not a grant. And the idea behind that is, we as a 501c3, when we hopefully recoup that investment, it'll all come back into the fund for future artists. So we can create this evergreen cycle of supporting artists and recouping and then supporting more artists. And as a 501c3, those funds need to stay in that loop that advances our mission and our goals as a foundation. So I hope that wasn't too much. It was a lot. I know there's a lot there, but I'm sure Mike has something he'd like to add.
No, I love that. And too much is better. This is such uncharted territory, and you guys are doing something really super interesting, and it's kind of fascinating to watch. Michael, you both have sort of backgrounds in very traditional filmmaking, and so what was it about the Web3 space that attracted you to something that maybe people weren't automatically thinking about in terms of, putting this kind of industry in?
Yeah, great question. My attraction to it and the appeal for it was in its ability to address this specific issue. That Web3 can address a lot of different issues in Film 3. Distribution, rights management. There are a lot, residuals allocation. There are a lot of ways in which people are exploring how Web3 can make things fairer for filmmakers, and those are all great things. We encourage, we are, strong supporters of that. But what I saw, and when we first started talking about this several years ago, was addressing a very specific issue, which of course Leo just described it, in a number of ways. But the idea that that it's very difficult to pick winners in this industry. There's the drinking from a fire hose problem that Leo described, and it's very, it's very the industry is very centralized. It makes decisions based on retrospective analytical models that look at comparable films that aren't that these models have very have limitations in how and their ability to predict winners and the result of that is, and there's much more to that, but to talk about, but just to boil it down, the result of that is there's a lot of great talent and content that slips through the cracks. Projects and filmmakers that can be successful both creatively and commercially, and that's our belief. That's part of our thesis and our premise. And what was just very appealing about blockchain and the tools that it provides is its ability to very efficiently and fairly and transparently bring together the community and elicit all of these opinions about these projects, about projects that are submitted on our platform. And what that allows is, just to boil DCP down to something very simple for people to take away is this: it's like focus grouping on a massive scale in a very efficient way, with something that without blockchain we couldn't do before. And instead of looking retrospectively at how does this film that you're considering compare to films that have come before that are comparable, you can actually take the film and you can vet it with audiences in a relatively quick and efficient way, and transparent and fair and immutable way, and get information about it. And so it allows you not only to I think to pick potentially successful films better, but also to find those films that slip through the cracks, and make filmmaking more fair and equitable, and to bring in those voices that haven't been able to break through the system because of its sort of ossified features. So that's sort of what appealed to it for me, is its ability to inject this efficiency that could really change the game for how filmmakers and content is found.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So let me just give you an environment that I'm familiar with, and then let me sort of see where it sort of fits in your mold. So I'm a young filmmaker. I came out of film school. I crowdfunded 20, 50, 75K. I made a film. I'm going through the now pushing it through the film festival circuit. Is what you guys are doing thought to replace that, or is it a complement to that process as well?
Complement to that process 100%. We definitely doesn't replace it. One thing that any filmmaker will tell you, especially independent filmmakers, is that there are lots of different ways to skin a cat, and you've got to try on all fronts to get your film financed, to get it seen, to get it heard, to get your voice heard. And so the way we see decentralized pictures is as another tool in that sort of tool chest of ways that filmmakers can get their projects out there. We're not trying to totally replace the current system. We're creating a new lane in the highway, and a new path, in addition to all the others. And again, we encourage, filmmakers should go and try and find those other independent financiers. They should submit to festivals. They should get their film out as far and wide as possible. But DCP is a new pathway and a new tool and a new opportunity for filmmakers to also get financing and also get exposure and also be seen and heard. And so it just, and any filmmaker will tell you they need all the help they can get. So that's what we're looking to provide.
That's incredible. And you guys are familiar with obviously the DAO setup. Was that something you considered, or you wanted to do something that was very different?
No, to be honest, we operate very, akin to a DAO mandate. we actually try as much as possible to include the community in advancing the app itself, the
Discord.
consensus algorithm. And at the time when we founded this company, DAOs weren't, I mean, the DAO, the original DAO that ended up, getting hacked and failing and causing Ethereum to fork into two different blockchains, had happened already. But there wasn't sort of this, there wasn't any Wyoming DAO laws yet. And so we founded it as a 501c3, partially because it, as an entity type, resembles a DAO to a certain extent. I mean, most closely at the time, I think, to any other entity type that existed, because it's a public charity. It doesn't have any owners. There's no equity stakeholders in the company. It's a non-stock corporation. And so, it's governed by the board of directors, but we've taken sort of the approach of including the community votes in how the app will evolve, and actually the chain that underpins the blockchain of our app has similar functionality as well, and that's a decentralized network that at this time really no one controls, but it uses a proposal system that requires the people who are contributing to the network, known as miners or validators, to endorse and vote for protocol changes as the chain is updated in a very similar way to a DAO and how it makes its decisions. So, we are definitely believe in decentralized governance as much as we believe in decentralized curation of ideas and filmmakers. So I think that, yeah, that was part of the reason that we set it up as a 501c3. I mean, there were other reasons as well. We wanted all of the resources to be stuck in this, this loop, this purpose-built application, and not have, shareholders to pay. And really, we wanted to give it the best chance of success. So if not only do we have to use all the resources towards the mission, but there are tax benefits, of course, as well. And we felt like that was going to be, if you're going to do something that could really make a difference for filmmakers and in the industry in general, why do it unless you're going to give it the best chance of success? And it just felt like the way to do it properly was as a 501c3, because it is purpose built and has to, there's no way of changing it, right? Once the money is in that system, it has to be used for the nonprofit purpose.
That's incredible. Kevin Smith is on your homepage. Tell me about that relationship.
Yeah, so essentially we have a connection to Kevin through one of our board members who's been a producer of his for some time. And, he has been a, guiding star in independent cinema. I grew up watching his films and, I've admired his work for a long time. I mean, Mallrats was one of the funniest films that, we watched when I was in, I guess it was high school. And or maybe before that. I can't remember when Mallrats came out.
You're dating yourself, Leo.
yeah, I know. But obviously there are many others. I mean, he's done so much great work. And he's very supportive of independent filmmaking. He has this really great film festival called Smog Castle, which we actually helped sponsor and participated in this year. And it just felt like a good fit for us and our organization. And of course, he has a great network to help, bring in submissions. And the way that partnership is working is we are financing a film at the development stage. That's a comedy short film. Kevin and his team are going to help the filmmakers to execute the film in, as professional and as commercial viable way as possible. And the idea is that winning filmmaker will end up with this great, piece of material that can help them to take it even further, maybe create a series out of it or a feature film out of it, and act as like a launch pad for that. And yeah, so it's about providing an opportunity to a deserving filmmaker, and Kevin really, you know, jived to that and was excited about it. And it's very similar to the reaction we had from Steven Soderbergh when we told him about our mission. He, was very quick to be supportive and has been very supportive. So yeah, we're continually looking to create more opportunities for filmmakers. And if we can have an amazing mentor like either of those two to help in that process, all the better, because our success is really going to be based on the success of the filmmakers that are selected, and how well we can help them achieve their goals. And I think that to be able to point to specific instances is going to, the proof is in the pudding.
That's incredible. That's really great. You have those partnerships. That's, it's pretty fantastic.
Well, yeah, well, and that's what DCP is about, right? Is you know having these relationships with established folks in the industry and established companies in the industry, and our partnership network, and being able to bring that support through mentorship, through guidance, notes on a script, representation for a new filmmaker, and bring all of those resources to these filmmakers that we find on DCP. That's a big part of what DCP is about. So we're honored and privileged to be working with Kevin, and appreciate his support.
And I'm sure that's going to grow. That's going to be a growing list. You guys is there presence with DCP in festivals? Is that something, where you get the word out? Is opportunity to share what the brand and the culture is at festivals?
Absolutely. We want the films that come through our platform to get into festivals, of course, and when they do, we like to go there to support, but also uh, hold an event or speak on a panel just to continue to get the word out to up and coming filmmakers and burgeoning filmmakers. Obviously, a big part of our goal right now is spreading the word and raising awareness about DCP, and letting filmmakers know about all the opportunities that are available on our platform, and also letting film fans and film lovers know that they can come and participate in the process of selecting that next great artist or the next great project, and getting paid to do so. So yes, we definitely we were just at Sundance, and we had our event there, and we are looking to go to future festivals as well. And we're also exploring ways that we can partner with the festivals themselves in offering new opportunities to filmmakers. So yeah, it's definitely a big part of what we do.
And do you guys see yourself like adopting more aspects of the film process? In other words, getting a film done, and if it's great and nobody knows about it, it doesn't matter. So PR is a big deal. I see a lot of young filmmakers blow all their money and then they struggle to get through post production. Are some of those choke points going to be addressed as resources that will go forward be available?
Absolutely. Our partnership network, and our goal is to grow this, but our partnership network, it aims to support filmmakers at all stages of the process. So when if a filmmaker comes through and gets their film made with the help of DCP, we also want to bring our industry network to find ways to help that filmmaker sell their film, to get it distributed, to get it marketed. And we're also exploring the possibility of having awards that provide financing for those much later stages of the process. Right now, the Andrews Bernard Award, which is the award that was sponsored by Steven Soderbergh, was for finishing funds for a film. So it's pretty late in the process, helping to get the film completed. But we're also considering, perhaps offering up, some P&A financing or P&A funds, and also other support, to help the filmmaker again sell their film, get it out there, get it distributed. Uh, yeah.
That's very cool. And going forward, like what's sort of your fantasy how to sort of build this out? Because your project, like many projects in this space right now, are kind of flying and building the plane at the same time. So the process of going forward is kind of discovering what's needed. And based on what you guys know so far, going forward, what's sort of your fantasy add-ons and expansion of decentralized? Where can you see that happening?
It's a great question. We have always had, as Roman likes to call it, um, to create a virtual studio.
Oh, cool.
So, right now, this app that is, up and flying, like you said, is the financing department. We would like to, and it utilizes this methodology of decentralized decision making. We would like to create all of the various departments you'd find at a virtual or a real studio, but utilize the same methodology or at least similar methodology to the financing decisions. So that could be anything from casting. We could do decentralized casting. People upload their audition tapes, and the community could vote on who they think is most suitable for the role. Could work for locations as well. I mean, which house is scarier for this haunted house scene, or which field works better for this battle, or whatever the case may be. I mean, sure, you got to go out and scout, and you got to get it sort of a short list, and you can't expect everyone to submit pictures of locations, but you could use the same methodology to incentivize people to vote on what they think would work better in a particular creative decision. And things like distribution. How do you determine which of these 100 films deserves to get this, like Mike said, P&A budget and get put into this streaming platform, or this say blockchain distribution platform that uses smart contracts to dynamically pay out the residuals and eliminate the need for a collection account manager, something like that. I mean, there's so many possibilities. And we eventually would like to explore all of the various departments at a conventional studio that you would find, but utilizing this great tech and methodology to achieve their goals. Yeah.
And is there any thoughts about using any NFTs in this process, like, as tickets, or, as advanced screenings or access to filmmakers or anything like that?
Leo loves to talk about this. Go Leo.
As do I.
So we actually have an NFT collection that we call the FILMCrew, and it's exactly as it sounds. It's film crew positions that you'd find on a set, and also objects that you'd find on a set.
Wow, that's cool.
I could briefly show you some if I
Yeah,
can.
let's see it.
Um,
And what platform is that on?
it's on Rarible. It's on OpenSea.
Nice.
It's
I love
on 3 different chains at the moment. 4 different chains actually. It's on TalentNet. It's on Ethereum. It's on Polygon, and it's on Tezos.
There are a lot of ways that you can use NFTs in filmmaking. A lot of people, or many people have created NFTs of some of their creative to help raise funds for their films. But we have some interesting ideas, and Leah has some great ideas about using NFTs as tickets and different ways that can enhance the experience for film goers.
In terms of filmmaking, certainly NFTs could be tickets, and that ticket itself would then be a collectible. I mean, think about it like I've used this example before, but let's say you went to the opening night of, I don't know, Indiana Jones or Star Wars or, Casablanca, and you had that ticket stub. Uh, you could probably sell it on eBay as like the opening night ticket stub, right? Like that's probably got some value. I'm sure there'd be people out there who want that. So you have an NFT that's got two states. It's got a redeemable state and it's got a redeemed state. But as it does go from state A to state B, it could, change, transition in terms of the art, and you would then keep that redeemed ticket in your wallet, and you have it forever as this collectible. Like I was number 220 to purchase a ticket to see this piece of content, or you were number one, like you were the very first one. I mean, that would probably be worth something too. And so, it would be like having that first opening night Star Wars ticket stub, but it would have a piece of art associated with it. And maybe there are some ancillary perks you could bake into that. But anyway, the tech is very, interesting because it's a unique identifier. And if you look at a, Ticketmaster ticket, they all have their unique identifiers on them, right? But it's just tracked in a database instead of a blockchain. I mean, really, they're already doing it in Web 2, but now it's immutable and it's on a public ledger that can't be changed through a centralized database. So there's value in that. And I think that it's going to be exploited and used for sure. And someone's going to crack the code on how to make it super efficient. I think the problem now is, it's somewhat isolating, right? Because you have to have this sort of understanding of the technology in order to use the technology. And most people that want to go see a film, they, the mainstream, I mean, there are of course outliers, but the mainstream, they want to be able to open the app, click buy, and walk into the theater and scan the thing. And until it becomes that user friendly, it's not going to be widely adopted. And I think it will get there, right? I mean, look at Web 2, it's what, 25 years old? When was the internet invented? In like the early 90s? I mean, obviously there was private networks before that, but the public internet, there wasn't even online banking until 10 years later, right? I mean, when did we actually start using online banking in a mainstream way? It was, early 2000s. And then, now people are online all the time. So it takes time to catch on, and it takes time for the tech to evolve to become accessible to the masses. But I think that we will get there, and it will happen. And there are going to be the Googles of Web3 that really figure out how to crack that cookie and put it back together so everyone can taste it.
Yeah, it's a great conversation. Could talk about it all day long. It's super exciting to think about everybody being onboarded, once we get sort of past the scary tech jargon, you know, I think about myself and like all the movies I was asked to add money to as they crowdfunded, and you give somebody $100 or something, you don't ever expect to see, half the time you don't expect to see that movie even get made. But if that was Ryan Coogler's first film and I bought an NFT and it helped him finance it, that NFT now has value because he has value, so it's a completely different way to look at it. It's kind of an exciting time.
Absolutely.
I think the one interesting thing about this is the essence of this, of all of this, whether it's voting on films that the community selects and then the community can see that film get made, or NFTs that are a part of the experience of having gone to the film or been a supporter of the film, uh, are creating that community experience, right? And it's about creating a currency in culture, right? And allowing communities to both create that and then benefit from that and benefit from even the monetization of that. And so that's what I think is appealing about blockchain, and it feels empowering about it, and if it's used in the right way and sort of implemented in the right way, and that's one of the reasons why we made DCP into a 501(c)(3. As Leo talked about before, is that what this is all about is community and empowering the community, and so we felt like the rewards and the benefits of that should are back to the community. So that's the thing that I think kind of is a thread that runs through all of this, is creating that community experience and allowing the community to really benefit from it.
Well said. Well said. Guys, I thank you very, very much for your time. This is pretty incredible. I hope you'll come back. I'm excited to watch to see how this develops. I'm excited to watch what you guys learn and implement. And I think it's really exciting what you guys are doing. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch all this play out. So I really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having us. Yeah, anytime. Let us know. We're always, game to come and talk DCP. We could do it all day as well.
Thank you so much, Vince. Great talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And we'll talk soon. Safe travels.
Thanks, Vince.
Bye bye.